It was on Halloween in 1693 that Winifred, Sarah, and Mary Sanderson stole the spirit of young Emily Binks. Taking their revenge, the town of Salem hanged the three witches. Before the Sanderson sisters took their last breath, their magic book had cast a curse that the sisters would return on All Hallows Eve on a full moon when a virgin lights the black flame candle. It's simple. Join a team, fight for victory, survive the night. Enter if you dare. Come, little children, I'll take thee away
into a land of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of magic.
Bonjour mon petit chifle, Amber here. Happy spooky season. Happy pre-October, because hopefully this will be up before the 1st. Happy Halloween. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I said what I said. Anyway, it is approaching October. It is spooky season. It is Halloween time. I am thriving. And that means it's this time for spooky readathons. I said that I was going to be done with readathons for a little bit after the Disney readathon. I just needed a break to recover, and then I stumbled upon the Hocus Pocus Readathon. Hocus Pocus is not only iconic, not only full of nostalgia, it's not only one of my favorite Halloween movies, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, ever. I can watch it all year long, and I generally do. So there's no way that I was not taking part of the Hocus Pocus Readathon, you know? I like to think of myself as the 4th Sanderson sister. Okay, so the Hocus Pocus Readathon. This was created by, I should have had this part pulled up, but I was too busy being dramatic. Alyssa at Pages and Ink and Tiffy. I will leave all of their information below, as well as the announcement video and all of the information regarding the readathon. This readathon takes place between October 1st and 13th, and I'm just super excited. Today is the 29th. I just finished figuring out my TBR yesterday. Look. Speaking of said TBR, there are 3 teams for this readathon. There's the Team Sanderson Sisters, which is the superior team. Team Undead, which would be like Billy and my sweet boy cat Thackeray Binks. And Team Trick-or-Treaters, you know, Max, Danny, and Allison. Fun fact, I had such a crush on Max when I was younger. In fact, funner fact, one of the main characters in a book that I'm working on, not the main one, just another one, is named after the actor that played Max in Hocus Pocus. I think it's because I started writing it around this time last year, so I was watching Hocus Pocus in the beginning stages, and he needed a name, so his name is Omri, after Omri Katz, who plays Max in Hocus Pocus. That's beyond the point. Anyway, so if you couldn't tell by the superior team, I am on Team Sanderson Sisters because they are my queens. I've always wanted to be Sarah Sanderson, even though I identify more like personality wise with Winnie, but you know, it's beyond the point. It says our team goal is to cast the spell to become immortal, requires 50 points. Our strength, you cast a spell to give your team a boost, add 5 points to one prompt. And weakness, in order to capture the children, you must learn about them. You must read a YA or middle grade novel. See, I didn't read that part before I made my TBR, but it doesn't matter because we all know I mostly read YA. Ready for another dramatic reading. It says, selling your soul to Master Satan, back up, not this one, not me, was only the beginning of your magical journey. Unfortunately, your deal with him didn't include immortality. It's been centuries since the spell book made the curse, and finally it's time to rise. Make sure you complete your prompts in order to get enough points to reach your goal. I shouldn't be doing this on Sunday. Anyway, the prompts in my TBR. Stop babbling, Amber, please. Prompt number 1 is potions, spells, and enchantments. Read a book with a witchy main character, and this is worth 5 points. And I'm so irritated because I found out about this readathon literally like a day or two after I finished reading Serpent and Dove. I just finished reading Serpent and Dove. And it's too soon to reread it. I mean, it's not, but I have other things I need to read, so it's too soon to reread it, even though I adore it. But that would have been perfect. That would have been perfect for so many of these prompts, but alas, I've already read it. I also just finished reading 5 Dark Fates, which also would have been perfect for this prompt, but whatever. Instead of those 2 books, I'm reading another one it was already next in my TBR. I wanted to read it this month, but after I finished, I kind of had like a slow reading month and kind of just let it be, and instead of rushing and then forcing myself to read it in like 3 days, I just saved it for the readathon, and that is Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. I'm so excited to read this book. I adore this cover. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. It's about a girl who's born into like a family of witch doctors, except her, I think she doesn't have any magic, and then the kingdom's children start disappearing, and she has to like make a bargain or something regarding magic in order to bring them, in order to, I guess, like tap into her magic that she's supposed to have to find these children, bring them back. There's something about a demon king. So very witchy and very gorgeous. Long live the YA snake. I can't wait to dive into this. 500-ish pages isn't too long for a 13-day readathon, is it? That's another thing. Both of the other books, Serpent and Dove and 5 Dark Fates, are both like almost 500 pages. So I'm like, and yet I still decide to read this regardless. Hopefully it'll be, I'll like fully immersive and I'll speed through it. Right. So the next prompt is, the Sanderson sisters have risen. Read a book with a female protagonist, which is also worth 5 points. Once again, I could have read either of those books. And for the most part, I'm trying to keep the books that I choose within the kind of like spooky, witchy, Halloween-y vibe. I think all of them kind of fall into that vibe except for one. So that's why I didn't just choose just any book with a female protagonist. For that, I am reading Wilder Girls by Rory Power. Another one with a great cover. I've been putting this off for way too long, so I'm finally picking it up and I'm excited to get to it. I love this cover so much. I've heard a mix of things regarding this book. Most people for the most part like it, but I've heard a lot of people didn't like the ending. So I'm curious to see what this like polarizing ending is. I don't know a ton about this book. I just know it's set on this island. There's an all-girl school, and then like this sickness breaks out, which like causes all of these like deformities almost, and then they're quarantined, and that's all I really know. But it has a very dark vibe to it. I think there are a bunch of trigger warnings on it, so be warned about that. Next is The Magic Book is Calling to You. Read a book that is spellbindingly atmospheric. And I kind of had trouble with this, just basically going on books I already owned. I didn't really want to buy anything new for the readathon because I have no space for new books, and I don't know, I have so many books I need to read through. So I was like googling YA atmospheres book, blah 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 blah. I don't know what I just said, but on this list, one of the lists that I found, I think it was on Epic Reads or something, I was like, I have that book, so I'm gonna give it a go. Finally, I've had this book for so long. I've even met the author of the book a couple of times. She's great, and I've been meaning to get around to this series. In fact, she's a whole other, anyway. It's Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova. This is the first book in the Brooklyn Brujas series. I was chosen by the Deos. Even gods make mistakes. Alex is a Bruja, the most powerful witch in a generation, and she hates magic. At her death day celebration, Alex performs a spell to rid herself of her power, but it backfires. Her whole family vanishes into thin air, leaving her alone with Nova, a Brujo she can't trust, but who may be Alex's only chance at saving her family. And I read online that they have to go to like this magical like realm or island or something, and I figure like that bit is definitely going to be like super magical and atmospheric, and I hope that this is as good as I'm expecting it to be. Okay, all right, the next prompt is The Burning Rain of Death. Sorry, I just had a flash from the movie. Read a book that frightens you, and that's worth 5 points. The other one is also worth 5 points, and this one was also difficult for me because a lot of books don't like scare me too much. Movies do, definitely do, but like books don't really scare me too much. So I'm cheating with this a little bit because I'm not reading a book that frightens me, but I'm reading a scary book. And I'm also cheating because it's one I've already started. But hear me out. I am currently listening to It by Stephen King, the audiobook for it. And the audiobook is like 45 hours or something, like 42 hours or something. And considering I still have like 35 hours of the book, I'm gonna count it. It's a horror book. I found this is the second Stephen King book I've tried. I don't like Stephen King books. I love the movie adaptations, but I don't like the books. Like, I love, like, the last one I read was Misery. Misery is one of my favorite movies of all time. The book, I really could have gone the rest of my life without reading it or listening to it. I love it. The new one, I've seen the old one. I don't remember the old one, but I think I liked it. Or maybe I didn't because I remember my mom made me watch it in that time when I was afraid of clowns. Regardless, I love Carrie. I love Firestarter. But yes, I love Stephen King movie adaptations, but the books just don't do it for me. His writing style isn't it. So I'm gonna push through and finish listening to the audiobook because it counts. 35 hours is like 3 books, okay? So the next one, this prompt is called Master Satan is Pleased with You, and honestly, no thanks. Is read a book with a powerful villain. This one is worth 5 points. And another one I struggled with, I was like, I don't know. I could, like, I'm not gonna I can't reread The Hunger Games just yet. I reread The Hunger Games in November, but President Snow is a powerful villain. My voice. All the books that I can think of actually, what I could have done was I have an arc of Girls of Storm and Shadow and Storm, the sequel to Girls of Paper and Fire. That could have fit that prompt, but I'm not quite ready to read it yet. So I am reading another book that I've had for a really, really long time and have been putting off, and it's a very popular book, very popular series. And it's Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, the first book in the Grisha trilogy. Obviously the powerful villain in this book is the Darkling. I don't really know much at all about this book, except that this series is like set in the same universe as Six of Crows, which I also haven't read, that duology. In fact, I've been putting off reading it because I know you don't have to read these books before you read those books, but I want to read these books before I read those books because I want to understand the universe. I've heard a lot of mixed things about these books. A lot of people don't like them, and I'm kind of nervous, but like I said, I can't read Six of Thrones. I think my brain was saying Game of Thrones. Six of Crows and the other one before I read these. Pray for me. The last prompt, or the last book prompt, is work together with your team to take down those horrible children and become immortal, which is read the group book. And this one is worth 10 points. And for Team Sanderson sisters, we have 2 choices for the group book. The first one is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. But like I just said, I just read that book. I loved it so much. And I'm not going to cheat and just say I read Serpent and Dove, even though I read it this in September. I don't have the other option. I ordered it, so it should be here tomorrow or Tuesday. And that is the Hocus Pocus book and the all-new sequel. Heard a lot of things about that book. I'm probably going to skim the first half because the first half is just recounting the movie in book form, and then read the sequel bit just to say I did it, just because I feel like I should own the book as a Hocus Pocus super fan. So there's that. And the last prompt, which is the most important on this whole list, this one is worth 15 points. Celebrate your victory by watching Hocus Pocus. And Freeform is showing Hocus Pocus 31 times. And you bet your bottom dollar I will be watching Hocus Pocus all 31 times. Plus a few others because I do own it on DVD. So that is my TBR for the Hocus Pocus Readathon. I have a lot of reading to do in 13 days and I'm scared. I really need to stop the readathons. Help me. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you like me, feel free to subscribe. Let me know if you're taking part in this readathon or any other Halloween, spooky, October readathon. I know there's a Gilmore Girls readathon going on in October and I can't do both, but I want to do both. Someone stop me from doing both. Anyway, all my places are done here. Follow me, I'll follow you back, and I'll see you very soon.